Hey everyone, Brandon Quinn here, thanks for joining. In this video, we're going to play through the Hexakai daily puzzle from December 20th, which is going to be on a board of size 11 rated at medium difficulty. So a board of size 11 is bigger than the typical board of size 10. Instead of having 10 diagonals, it has 11. The center row has 11 cells, and there are 11 values, 0 through 9 and A. If the A confuses you, you can go in and change under settings to numbers only. Then it will appear as a 10. So actually, I'm going to play that mode today using the 10 instead of the A. If you're new to Hexakai, it's a Sudoku-inspired game of hexagons. It's played on a roughly diamond-shaped board like this. Instead of having one column, it has two diagonals in two different directions. It's similar in that the center row and all the diagonals each have to have every value exactly once. It's different in that every row except for the center row has fewer cells. So the center row has all 11 in this case. Directly above and beyond it's 10, then 9, then 8, etc. So you can't fit every value in, but it still has to have all unique values within the row. You can't duplicate anything. If you want to try this puzzle out for yourself first, I have a link in the description, or you can visit hexakai.com or open up the Android or iOS app, navigate to the Daily tab, and then select today's puzzle. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to zoom in, or actually I'm going to zoom out a little bit, see what we're dealing with. This is an interesting board. It's almost entirely alternating rows. So you can generate a board like that yourself if you wanted to by going to New Game, Advanced Options, and then hit Row Strings. There are some other options here, but that's what this is based on, row strings. I've played boards like this once or twice. The playthrough is definitely a little bit different than typical. It feels different playing it, but it's still a fun experience, a fun type of board to play, so let's jump in and see what we can do. Typically, I like to start with the center row first. Once we get that open, it opens up a lot of the rest of the board to be solved. It removes a lot of the ambiguity, so I can see that it's slightly more than halfway solved now. Let's see what values are missing and then try to fill them in. We have a 1, 2, 5, 8, 3, 9, 0, 4, 6, 7, 10. That's 0, 4, 6, 7, 10, so we have a 0 here, 6, 10. I'll leave this one as a 4 or a 7, so I'll pencil those in. Here, 6, 7, 10. This one would be a 0 or a 4. 0, 4. This one would be 6, 7, 10. This won't be any of them. 0, 4, 6, 7, 10. Let me make sure of that. Not a 6, but any of the other ones. So let's see what we have here. 4, 6, 0. This could be a 7 or a 10. So we couldn't conclusively assign anything right from the start, but that's all right. We got the pencil markings in, which is still valuable. We can go through, try to do some of the other diagonals now, and see what we can come up with. I'm going to do this one next. We have 6 values present, 5 missing. We might be able to make some headway there. So what we have present is 10, 9, 6, 2, 8, 4, 0, 1, 3, 5, 7. 0, 1, 3, 5, 7. So I'll start up here. 0, 1, 3. This is going to be a 5 or a 7. Here we have 0, 1. This is going to be a 3, 5, 7. What about here? 5, 3, 1. This could be 0 or a 7. 0. This is going to be a 1, not a 3. 1, 7. And here we have 0, 1, 3. One interesting thing about playing this type of board where it alternates rows, as you're going through diagonals, seeing what intersects, you won't have any row information. You can only go by the diagonals in most cases. Like this, in this row we could. And once we, like this row we can a little bit. And once we have more progress, we'll be able to do that as well. So really that'll just pose a difficulty for us until we start making some definite assignments. For now, I think it'll be prudent to just go through trying to solve some more of the diagonals. Like here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can do that one next. There's only 3 values missing. We have 3, 4, 1, 7, 5, 0, 10. 2, 6, and 8 are missing. So we have a 6 here. That leaves 2 or 8. What about here? 2, 8. This one has to be a 6. leaving, there's a 2 there. Wait, let me make sure I'm not missing something. 3, 4, 1, 7, 5, 0, 10, 2, 6, 8, 9. 2, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, there was a 9 there. A 9 there, right? 2, 8, 9, 6. So that just leaves 2, 8, 9. 2 here. This is going to be an 8 or a 9. And this one, 2, 8. This one has to be a 9. And that just leaves 2 and 8 as the values. If this one has to be a 9, this one can't be a 9, so it has to be an 8. And now this one has to be a 2. Alright, so that's good. We solved the entire diagonal. Alright, I think we can continue. Let's do this one now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That just leaves 4. We had 8, 0, 9, 1, 4, 7, 6. That should leave 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 10. There's a 10, 5, 2. That makes this one definitely a 3. That leaves 2, 5, 10. 2, 5, so this one has to be a 10. There's a 5 here, making this one a 2. Let me get rid of that pencil marking. Making this one here a 5. Very nice. Okay, so we got some progress there. And now we're starting to fill in some of these empty rows that'll help us down the line. It'll start to feel more like a normal board playthrough as we fill in those lines, those rows, that is. Actually, we could probably do this one next. It might help to do that. If we can assign this one, that would help us for the center. So let's see what we have. 9, 1, 5, 3, 10, 2, 6, 7, 0, 4, 8. 0, 4, 8. This one can be a 0 or a 4. What about here? This one can be any of them. 0, 4, 8. But actually, look at this. So if both of these have to be a 0 or a 4, that means no matter how you slice it, the 0 and 4 will be distributed between these two. So therefore, this one can't be a 4 or an 8. Or sorry, 4 or a 0, and it has to be an 8. That's one of the strategies I discussed in the strategies post linked below in the description if you want to read it. Those kind of observations can really help solve the board faster. And in more difficult puzzles, solve the board at all, if not faster. Now I'm going to do this way, the intersecting one. There's only 3 missing, so we have 1, 8, 2, 6, 10, 5, 3, 7. I believe it's 0, 4, 9 are missing. So there's a 4 here, a 9. This would become a 0. That leaves 4 and 9. This one can be a 4 or 9. There's a 4 here, making this one a 9, so then the other one has to be a 4. Okay. Interestingly, we're filling it in a sort of a checkered board pattern. That's just a pure coincidence, but it's just a funny visual element there. Let me update this. Since we've got the 10 here, 10, 6, 0, we can remove the 0 and 10 for the pencil markings. And now we have 7, 4, and 7, 4 again. We have that pair. We can remove 7 and 4 from the rest of the cells on the center row. Which basically means we just solved the entire thing, except for the 7 and the 4. So first I'm going to do this 10 here, just mark that in. Then I can remove the pencil marking from there, and any other ones. We didn't fill in all the pencil markings, so there's only a few, but still helpful. Now we can put a 0 in here, remove any if applicable, which it is, because now we can conclusively say that's a 4, which then makes this one a 7, which then makes this one a 4, and then the last one in the center is a 6. So with just that, we got the entire center row done, which is definitely going to be helpful for solving the rest of the board. Alright, so continuing on. Here's another pair, 7, 5, 7, 5, so this one has to be a 0 here. And because 7, 5, 7, 5, there's a 1 here. This one has to be a 1, it can't be a 7. And this one can't be a 0 or 1, so it has to be a 3. Right, because of the 0 and the 1 there. So that just leaves 7, 5, 7, 5. Okay, so the pencil markings definitely help. We barely pencil marked, and we're already really taking advantage of what we did pencil mark, so very helpful to do. I'm going to proceed, try to get a little bit more done on the bottom now. So I'll do this one. There's only 2 missing. We have 0, 3, 2, 1, 6, 8, 7, 4, 5. That's just 9 and 10 are missing. There's a 9 here, so this one's just a 10. And this one is a 9. I'll do the intersecting one. There's only 2 missing there now. We have 6, 4, 8, 7, 3, 10, 9, 2, 5. 0 and 1. Yep, 0 and 1. There's a 1 here, so this one has to be a 0. And this one has to be a 1. I'll knock out this one. There's only 1 cell remaining in this diagonal here. So we have 6, 10, 1, 0, 2, 8, 5, 4, 9, 3. 7 is missing. And I'll do another intersecting diagonal. There's only 2 missing here. We have 10, 0, 1, 5, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2. 4 and 6, I believe. Yep. There's a 4 here, so that one's a 6. And as a bonus, we completed that diagonal, making this one here a 4. Very nice. We still got that sort of checkerboard pattern going, which is cool. Let's see. I think at this point it's just a matter of knocking out diagonal by diagonal. I'll do the top right one. There's only 3 missing. We have 0, 7, 8, 4, 5, 3, 2, 9. 1, 6, 10. 1, 6, 10. So we have 1, 6, that's a 10. We have a 6 there, that's a 1. And this one would then be a 6. Oh, just as a reminder, this 10 is typically A. By default, for boards larger than 10, the additional values are A through F, all the way up to 16. But I did go into the settings and change it to numbers only, so instead of showing A, it shows 10. There are some other options, too, for display, but I decided for this board playthrough, I would just use 10. Now we'll knock out this one. I mean, there's 5 missing, but we can handle it. We have 6, 1, 7, 4, 8, 10. 0, 2, 3, 5, 9. 0, 2, 3, 5, 9. 0, 3. This one can be 2, 5, 9. 0, 2, 3, 5, 9. 0, 3, 5, 9, 2. This one has to be a 2. So get rid of that. 0, 3, 5, 9. 9. 0. This one can be a 3 or a 5. And 0, 3, 5, 9. Let's see. 5, 9. This is going to be 0 or a 3. Okay. Next diagonal. We can just do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 missing. We have 5, 3, 10, 2, 0, 1. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. 4, 6. We have a 4, 6 here. 8. This is going to be a 7 or a 9. 4, 6, 9, 8. This one has to be a 7, which means the one we just did has to be a 9. That leaves 4, 6, 7. There's a 4 there. 7 here, 6. 4, 7. There's a 7 there, making this one a 4. Making this one here a 7, except for the fact that there's a 7 here. So I'm just going to put this in red. Oh, there's a 7 here already. What's missing here then? 9, 7, 10, 6, 4, 3. No, there's a 3 here already. What I'll do, just for now, I'm just going to mark those both in red. I'll just error correct it in a bit. For now, I'm just going to do the remaining 2 diagonals. Most likely those errors, only one of them is an error probably, and it shouldn't affect the rest of the playthrough, and I can go back and correct it in isolation. So let's see what we have here. 1, 6, 5, 3, 10, 7, 0, 2, 4, 8, 9. 0, 2, 4, 8, 9. 0, there's a 4, 2, 9, 8. This one has to be a 2. Leaving 0, 4, 8, 9. 4, 9. This one has to be an 8. 0, 4, 9 are remaining. 9, 4, 0. 4, 9, there's a 4 there, making this one a 9. Making this one a 4. Alright, I'll knock out this one, then I'll visit these blank ones, and then I'll correct the errors. It should be apparent either here or when I do the blank ones what the error is and how to correct it. It shouldn't be too hard. So here we have 492068, 135, 1, 3, 5, 7, 10. 1, 7, 10. This one can be a 3 or a 5. Actually, I should say or 7 because that 7 could be an error here. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10. Let's see. 5, 10, 3, 1, 7. This one's definitely a 7. That just leaves 1, 3, 5, 10. You have a 1, 10. This is going to be a 3 or a 5. 3, 1, 5, 10. This one's a 10. And we just have 1, 3, 5. This one has to be a 1. Okay. So this one just has to be a 0. There's no 9 here, so this one has to be a 5. I mean, there is a 9 here, so that one has to be a 5. Thereby, this one has to be a 7. Thereby, this one would have to be a 5. There's 5 there, so that's a 3 or a 9. Okay, so this one has to be a 3, making that one a 9. So far, so good. The error hasn't cropped up yet. Oh, there's a 7 here. This one is definitely not a 7. I think we can trust the 7 then. And we have a 5, so this will be a 3. This would be a 5. And the question is, what is this if not a 7? So we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 10, 0, 7, 9. I believe this is an 8. I'll leave it marked in red, but I'm going to submit, see if we got the right answer. Nice, there we have it. So, a little bit of error correction, but we got it in the end. A board of size 11, rated at medium difficulty. It was an interesting playthrough, that style of board with the alternating rows. It definitely feels a lot different than a typical Hexakai game. It probably bumps the difficulty by a little bit. I would still consider that a medium difficulty board, but maybe slightly more than normal medium boards. But either way, we got it in about 25 minutes, maybe slightly less given I had the page up before we started. But either way, that's a solid playthrough, a solid amount of time to play through it. Be sure to keep up your streaks as you're playing through the games. Streaks apply for daily puzzles or just puzzles that you generate yourself via the play options. If you made it to the end, please consider liking and subscribing. Also be sure to check out the resources below. I have the Hexakai book, as well as the Android and iOS apps, or you can just play in the browser at hexakai.com like I just did. And if you like puzzles, be sure to check out my weekly puzzles that I publish on this YouTube channel, or you can check out my book Mental Mosaics, which has 200 puzzles, most of which I created myself. For now, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.